Welcome to Keep Traveling Your African Story, the only podcast that shares the real voices and journeys shaping African tourism. I'm your host, 𝐸𝐸, and through my inbound tour operation, Keep Traveling, I've had the privilege of connecting travelers from all around the world with the magic of Africa. This podcast is my way of opening that world up to you, a place to learn about the people, properties, and opportunities that make travel across this continent so very special. Today, I'm happy to introduce Taryn Erasmus, who's the Reservations and Marketing Manager from Ant Africa Safaris, who joins me to share her African story. Taryn, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm very excited to learn more about Ant Africa Safaris and the private reserve that you have. First, just tell us a little bit about the actual reserve itself.
Ant Africa Safaris is a privately owned reserve, and 𝐸𝐸 is the owner. His family actually moved down to the Waterberg in the 1800s. The 𝐸𝐸s have been part of the Waterberg for many years, and he was born and bred there. From the age of about 12, he's always said that he wanted to take a piece of land and just return it to what it was when his family arrived in the 1800s. He says his father was a big enough man and gave him where Ant's Nest is now, and from there it's just grown to what it is today.
Okay, so for our international listeners, explain to me where the Waterberg is and how I'm going to get there from an international hub.
The Waterberg is just north of Pretoria. We're quite close to the Botswana border. It's about 3 hours from Johannesburg International Airport, so not far at all. It's an easy drive, easy to get to. You could self-drive, you can even get a charter. It's only about 45-minute charter flight. But yeah, it's easy to get to, so not far from the airport.
Okay, so now I've arrived at the reserve, and I know that you've got a number of different opportunities as far as lodges are concerned. Tell me a little bit about that as well.
So our first lodge that we opened was Ant's Nest in 1996. That's actually built from an original farmhouse. Because it's built from a farmhouse, the rooms are quite close together, so it's great. It's a very social lodge. It's great for friends and singles traveling, which we get a lot of. Then in 2005, we opened Ant's Hill. That is more of your traditional lodge. So it's 8 kilometers away and it's built on the side of a mountain, but the rooms are a lot more private and more spaced out. So great for honeymooners, families wanting a bit more privacy. Those 2 lodges are on our main reserve. Then we have 𝐸𝐸, that is on its own private 1,100 hectare reserve. And that is a little bit more intimate, sleeping maximum 10 people, big riding lodge. And then we've opened our newest lodge, which actually opened 9 days ago. And that is River Lodge, which is in the 𝐝𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴 Game Reserve. That is our Big 5 lodge.
Talking about these different reserves, are they all open fenced and game can run freely between the reserves?
No, so in the Waterberg, the reserves are privately owned, so they are fenced. But we're lucky enough that our properties are big enough that a guest is not going to see a fence. You don't see that at Ants ever. The only fence you'll see is when you come in through the gate.
Now, the 4 different lodges that you've spoken about, tell me about their proximity to each other. Is it quite a drive between the 4? Is it worth staying at one as opposed to staying at the other?
Ant's Nest and Ant's Hill are obviously on the main reserve. 𝐸𝐸 is about 45 minutes away, but we've got traversing rights. So you can go through other reserves to get there. You don't have to get onto a tar road or anything like that. You can do a bit of a game drive to get to 𝐸𝐸. River Lodge is also about 45 minutes away, but that you do have to go onto a tar road and then through another fence and another gate to get onto that because it's a total separate reserve from us. But we're lucky that 𝐸𝐸, we're very close with our neighbor, so he allows us to go in between the reserves between him and he doesn't mind at all. But in terms of where people should stay, I always say it depends on what they want. I know what works and what doesn't work at certain lodges. So the more information I can get from people to figure out what their needs are, then I know where best to place them.
You're the person that's making sure that people get what they want. So based on that, what can people expect to see as far as game is concerned when they come to the different lodges?
We have 3 of the big 5 on our main reserve. We have white rhino, buffalo, and very elusive leopard. They are there though. And then plenty of plains game. So that's going to be your giraffe, wildebeest, zebra, antelope. At 𝐸𝐸, we don't have the rhino, but we've got the easy access. Guests can just hop over onto the main reserve and do a drive or a ride there to see the rhinos. And then obviously at 𝐸𝐭𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐬, that's Big Five. So that's got all of the Big Five animals plus your plains game.
People are always hunting the big five, but what's become quite a thing is the little five and the ugly five. I'm wondering if you can fill us in a little bit with that as well.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm not a guide, but we do have them too, the small five and the ugly five.
Okay, and flora obviously is something that people are quite interested in, as well as bird life. What can you offer guests that are looking for that kind of experience as well?
We're very lucky. Our guides are extremely knowledgeable. Our head guide is a level 3 and he's done a lot of training with other guides. I think it's nice when your guides are versatile because then you can appeal to people that have different interests like that. We are lucky also that the reserve we're on has very different landscapes and then different type of felt. Ants Hill is up on the mountain on like the side of a cliff, and their vegetation is so different versus Ants Nest where we're down in the bowl in the valley. As long as guests are telling us this is what we like and don't like, then we can make sure that they're getting that experience when they're at the lodge. We have over 300 bird species. We've got a full game list, plant list, tree list, and bird list, so that when guests come, they can even get a little booklet if they want, and they can tick off what they've seen, what they haven't seen. Especially in the summer, it's great because we've got a lot of big dams on our property, so the bird life is quite extensive.
Families that come to the Waterberg, what can you do as far as kids are concerned? Do you offer any kind of activities just for the kids, get them off the hands of the parents?
Yes, so we've got goodie bags for the kids, and inside is an activity book. We've got some games, little things like that, so it just keeps them entertained and keeps them engaged. We try and get the kids out as often as possible. You do see it sometimes where guests will come to the lodge and the kids will sit on the Wi-Fi, on the tablet. We don't want that. We want them outside. So we've got lawn games, we've got archery. All our lodges have really big pool areas and grassy areas so kids can run around and just be busy. Board games. Sometimes it's raining, sometimes the weather isn't great. Then we've got to keep them busy in the lodge. We also offer child minding. That's part of their rate. So if mum and dad want to go out on their own, no problem. We'll keep the kids at the lodge and we'll keep them busy and make sure that they get some energy out.
Without going into too much detail about each specific lodge, can you tell us about the amenities at the lodges themselves? What each room has, that type of thing that potential guests could look forward to?
That is a little bit trickier because our rooms are all so different. When they were designed, we wanted to be able to cater from someone who's really maybe a bit more budget conscious up to people that can splurge, and that's okay for them. So our rooms are a little bit all different, and that's why I say it's always good for me to understand guests because then I know where they're going to fit in. They're all unique, and some of them can be done up in different ways. So you can put a family there, but you can also put them there. But we'd like to have a certain level of luxury because you're out busy all day. We want people to come back and relax. So they'll be comfortable. They'll just maybe be a little bit extra in some rooms that won't be in others.
Talking about comfort, when they've seen the game that they've wanted to see and they've enjoyed what they've wanted to enjoy, their next priority is their stomach. So what can you talk about and tell us as far as the food and the drinks are concerned? What are people going to be looking forward to?
We have amazing chefs. We've put a lot of time and effort into them and it's showing. Our guests absolutely rave about the food. We also have no problem in terms of dietaries. I think guests can often think when you're in the middle of the bush somewhere, it's going to be hard to cater for a vegan or someone that's gluten-free, but that's not an issue for us. We can easily do it and make sure that they are fed and that they're enjoying it. We do hosted communal dining, so all the guests sit together with 2 members of staff every day, but we've changed that up. So someone like me, I'm not a guide. I don't get to meet the guests every day out on a ride, but this is my chance to be able to sit down and get to know them. And then they're just seeing all aspects of the company. So we share that amongst all of us, including our volunteers. They also get in and host. We do have set menus, so it's not a restaurant style. They can't choose off a menu. But if there's any sort of issue, we can easily adapt and make sure that they're getting something that they like if we're serving something that guests don't want to eat.
You spoke about volunteers. What do you offer as far as being able to volunteer at the reserve?
Yes, so we have a very successful volunteer program. It's booked up about a year in advance. Very horse orientated. It's usually girls maybe in a gap year, so just after university before they start getting into the real world and working. They come out to ANT. Most of your internationals will get an automatic 3-month visa when they come in. So they get a 3-month visa and then they can spend the 3 months with us, and it's just an experience. You can ride and meet different people, go out for sundowners, but also help in the yard. They're very important to us to help school and just having extra hands when you've got 50-something horses at each lodge. It's a lot. But yeah, it's very popular and we often get return volunteers and it's word of mouth. We don't really advertise it. They just tell people and it grows from there. It's amazing. It's nice also because we've got this dynamic changing constantly in the team. When you've got new volunteers coming in, it's just bringing, because we all live and work together on the same reserve. So it's fun to have volunteers because it's like a little bit of spice every now and then.
I'm sure some spicy things are going on there, Taryn. You've spoken about riding, so horse riding is quite a big thing inside the reserve to get around and view the property and the animals.
We specialize in horse riding and family safaris. We have, I think it's over 130 horses now, and because of that, we can cater for all riding abilities. People don't realize you can actually ride horse on safari. I think a lot of people assume it must be vehicle-based. And number two, you don't have to be an experienced rider with us. A lot of other operators, they require a certain level of riding, but not with us. Because we've got so many horses, we take kids, families, beginners, up to Olympic riders. So our horses also are not stabled. They actually live out in a natural herd structure in the bush with the game. So when guests are riding, they're getting a much closer experience on horseback than they would if they were on vehicle or foot, because the horse and the wildlife are just living together. They don't differentiate between rider and horse when you're riding them. They still see it as one unit. So they were grazing together this morning. So this afternoon, they're happy to sit and share space with you. And it gives guests a very unique experience.
Okay, and you're obviously not taking horses that are highly strung or skittish amongst the wildlife. So it's a nice, relaxed outride, right?
Different horses have different personalities. And when you've got the amount of people coming through our doors that come for horse riding, you've got to make sure you cater for all of that. So you do get some horses that are a little bit more hot, but that's what people like. They want something that's just going to be a bit more forward going. Some people prefer to just make sure I'm on a bomb-proof pony. I would say 90% of them at least want a bomb-proof, and that's totally okay. Our horses come in, wherever we get them from, they go under extensive training before they are ready for guests. Sometimes it can be up to 3 years before we'll let a guest ride a horse.
Okay, and I want to come back to that volunteer setup. You said a lot of it is word of mouth, but for somebody out there that's listening to this, how can they get involved in the volunteer program?
On our website, there's actually a volunteer button. They could go on there, submit a form. It's an online form and it automatically comes to us. If not, my email address is on the website. They can easily email me and I'll pass it on to the stable manager.
Okay, and just for our listeners, tell me the website address, please.
It's www.waterberg.net.
The volunteer, is that a completely volunteer program? So there's no payment for that, but I'm assuming that obviously all the board and living is going to be part of the program.
So there is a cost to it and it just covers transfers, food, all of that board, and so it just covers those expenses for the time that they're with us.
With having so many lodges, I'm assuming you have a lot of different staff amongst the lodges. Is there any one particular member of the staff that really goes above and beyond their call of duty to really shine, that when somebody does come to African safaris, that they would want to meet that person?
I could be a bit biased because I'm based at one lodge, but I think our head guide, 𝐸𝐴, he's also the GM of Ants Nest. He's amazing. Like, his passion for the bush just literally shines through, and I think how he talks about things just makes the guests so excited. So he's amazing, but I don't spend as much time with the other guides. So that's why I could be a little bit biased. And I know that every lodge has got amazing staff, and there's always going to be someone that stands out to the guests that they really enjoyed, whether it's the chef because they thought the food was amazing, or the guide that taught them something, or Amanda pairing them with a great horse. I think different people will have different ideas and remember different things about their holiday depending on what they like.
Sure. And on that matter, then, if a guest could take away one particular feeling after having stayed with you for whatever amount of time, what would you want that feeling to be?
home and family, because that's what we strive towards. You want someone to arrive as a guest, but leaving feeling part of our family and wanting to come back. That's the motto at Ants. It's what we want people to feel comfortable. Like, this is our home. You're coming in and we're sharing this beautiful place with you and these experiences with you. And we just want it to be remembered for that.
Okay, and as we finish off, Taryn, tell us where people can follow your story and find you online.
Socials, we're big on our Instagram and Facebook. It's Ant Africa Safaris on both. We engage a lot, so we want people to follow, even send us, DM us, we can answer quick questions. It's just Ant Africa Safaris on both Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome, Taryn. Thank you very much for coming on board and telling us about Ant Africa Safaris. I've appreciated your time and energy, and I look forward to maybe visiting myself sometime. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
What a knowledgeable conversation. Thank you so much, Taryn, for sharing your story and everything you're doing to grow African tourism. Don't forget, every week we feature fantastic prize giveaways from some of Africa's most beautiful lodges, camps, and travel partners. You could win your own unforgettable getaway just by listening, subscribing, or visiting www.keeptraveling.africa/podcast, or read more about today's guest by scanning through the show notes of today's episode. Don't forget to follow Keep Traveling on social media for the latest episodes, stories, and travel inspiration. I'm 𝐸𝐿𝐸𝐸, and this has been Keep Traveling, your African story. Remember, a few years from now, you won't remember how much it cost you, but you'll always remember the memories you made. Keep traveling.